like a dreamer. Fly all over the world. Open your shut so the world can see. You're a beautiful pearl. Live your day like you mean it. And don't forget who you are. You're free to go anywhere. There's no distance too far. And I just can't get enough of your energy. I just can't get enough. You're the spark shining in the dark. Oh, 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 oh.
Hi, welcome to It Is What It Is with Cindy Seville. So excited you're here today. We have a wonderful show in store for you. It Is What It Is a show that is meant to inspire real people telling real stories. But first, we'll go to mitzvah time. Mitzvah. What is a mitzvah? A mitzvah is a good deed. And for those of you who have been watching the show, you are well versed with what a mitzvah is. But a mitzvah is a good deed, and I challenge every single one of you every single day, do a mitzvah, do something nice, do a good deed for somebody, because in giving you receive so much. It makes you feel so good. So I'm going to tell you about a mitzvah that just recently happened, myself and this gentleman named Keith at a Stop and Shop. So I was returning bottles, and a couple of the machines were filled, and so I saw a gentleman walking by, and I asked him, I said, listen, I think some of the machines are full, and he said, no problem, I'll come and I'll empty them out. So I'm still putting my bottles in, and I don't know, there were probably about 8 or 10 of them that didn't go through the machine, and he was done with the machines, emptying and cleaning the machines, and he looked at me and he said, give me those bottles, and I'll give you a little slip for the amount. So it ended up being 10 bottles in total. And so he took the 10 bottles and he pulled out his cell phone. And he laid out the bottles on the table, and he pulled out a piece of paper and a pen, and then he pulled out his cell phone, and he pulled out the calculator, and he started calculating how much it was. There were 10 bottles times 5 cents. So I realized that math was not his forte. And I don't know if there was a learning disability involved or not, but whatever it was, he did his thing his way. It took a few minutes longer than it would have taken normally, but I didn't mind. So I pulled out my phone so he didn't feel pressured. And I started checking my messages, and I just waited for him to finish. He gave me my slip for 50 cents, and I thanked him profusely. And so I went to the counter, the service counter, and I was talking with the lady there. And he walked by, and I said, Keith, thank you so much. You know, you really went above and beyond. He was very helpful with a great attitude. And it just made me feel good. You know, when people are happy and smiling, it makes you feel good. And I said, thank you so much. And he said, no, thank you for being so patient, because not everybody is patient with me. And that broke my heart. And I said, you know what, Keith? That's their problem, not yours. I said, thank you again. And so that was that. He walked by, and I asked for the manager. And I told the manager, I commended him, and I said, you have a fabulous employee there. He's got a fabulous attitude, and he did a beautiful job. I just want you to know. So she said, I'm going to tell Keith, but I'm also going to tell my manager, she said. So now 2 managers know about this. I asked her if she could give me a little piece of paper so I could write something. And she gave me this. It says, we welcome your comments. And it has, you can mail something, you could email something. So I went on the website actually yesterday, and I put the whole story there. And I also told them, I told Stop and Shop that Keith is going to be acknowledged on my show. It is what it is. And Keith, if you're watching, thank you very much. Keep doing you, because you're fabulous. You're just absolutely fabulous. And awesome customer service, great attitude. Stop and Shop, give him a raise, commend him. But Stop and Shop in Southbury, Connecticut, it's Keith. Keith, who does the bottles and all of the shopping carts. You did an amazing job, and I thank you very much. So let's make him Facebook famous, YouTube famous, internet famous, whatever famous. So Keith, thank you. That's a mitzvah, a good deed. Just, he did one, I did one, and everybody felt good. Now, we have a giveaway. Every week we do giveaways, and this week's giveaway fits into the theme of the show. It's all about diversity and accepting differences. and how being different is a beautiful thing. So this is a book that I wrote called I Am. I am, I'm a beautiful me. I am, I'm not what you see. And that's a common verse that goes throughout the book. And I had 27 children illustrate in the book. I wrote the story. 27 different children from all over, all different ages, illustrated. And it's just about the beauties of diversity. So the only way to win this is to comment, like, and share. And the more times you share, the more chances you have of winning. So remember, giveaway, comment, like, and share. On to our guests. So we have today two fabulous, fabulous, fabulous ladies. Fran Sisco and her daughter, Kelly Frisco. Sisco, sorry. Kelly Sisco. So I don't know why I said Frisco. But anyways, when we come back from the commercial break, you're going to meet them. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Silvermine at Home, a Connecticut-based non-medical home care agency servicing Connecticut and parts of New York. Silvermine caters to their clients' needs while offering peace of mind to their families so their loved one can age in place and live their best life possible. Call today to see how they can make a difference in you or your loved one's life. Our family caring for yours. Visit silvermineathome.com or call 203-228-5007.
Welcome back to It Is What It Is with Cindy Seville. And I have two amazing guests. I have Fran Sisco and I have Kelly Sisco. Welcome to the show, ladies.
Hi,
Hello.
So glad to be here, Cindy.
I'm thrilled to have you here. It's really nice to be able to reciprocate because the very, very first show I was on was yours, your radio talk show, WVOX.
I'll never forget that show.
That was your first
In fact,
radio program ever?
The first ever, yes.
yeah.
Yes.
And she was so phenomenal on that show.
She was on before.
You were so well expressed, you were so candid, honest, everything. In fact, I heard today in a text from Chuck Donegan, who was the engineer, he said, that was such a fantastic show because I put up that we were going to be recorded today. And everyone loved that show. We got a lot of response.
I think it was the topic and the other side of it, the uplifting side, not just the sad side of it.
Exactly.
The side of overcoming it, how you get through it, and the positive side of the sadness. So I think it was not just the topic. I think it was the
overcoming
emotion,
the challenge
the emotion,
of cancer.
not only seeing the sad part of it, but also seeing like the journey, the joy of the journey of getting through it, you know?
Exactly. Yeah. It was funny. And the prayer, I mean, I just still laugh at the prayer. You know, I did
So I asked for people, right, for the people viewing, you know, to know. I asked for everyone in that sad moment of, but like Kelly was saying, you know, like having some strength to get through the moment, to join in a prayer. I was going to lead the prayer. Our Father.
You love to do prayers. Fran's big on prayers.
I'm big on
especially
prayers.
the Hail Mary prayer.
Well, also, not because it's just a religious thing about it, but also it's a way to bring people together. Usually for something that everyone knows.
Right,
you know, like
hopefully,
Pledge of Allegiance.
Hopefully, in a situation, people like doing that because not everyone feels religious to do it. But
But Cindy was very honest. She says, well, I don't really know this.
I actually put a TikTok video out there. It was pretty funny.
Prayer, right?
Oh, that's it.
I
bet you got a lot of views with
I
that.
did.
Because it's not your religion, right?
Right. I'm Jewish. And so, yes, I never, you know, I know the beginning, but that's all I know. And I was going to try to pretend.
That's what I'm saying. It's not always universal. It's not always a universal thing to do. You know what I'm saying?
And I don't remember.
Right?
Yes.
That's what I'm saying. So some people.
So next time I pledge allegiance to them.
You're bringing up mitzvah is, you know, I have a number of Jewish friends, a number of Jewish clients. All my life I've known Jewish people. But in the last several years I've gotten much more into celebrating diversity and reaching out. So I'm so glad you did that, because I'm thinking of mitzvahs more, and I'll express it as a mitzvah rather than saying that's like a good deed, because it brings in the Jewish culture as well, and it celebrates diversity. So a little mitzvah that I did, that I didn't do it anyway. Let me just tell you what it was. I saw a friend of mine at an arts center, at the Pelham Arts Center, where we have an exhibit going on, and he was showing me some paintings he was making of different people and stuff. He showed me Elvis. My good friend Gene DiNapoli is an Elvis.
I know Gene DiNapoli.
You know Gene?
Yeah.
Great Elvis performer and loves Elvis. And so I asked John, could you? It just dawned on me that would be a mitzvah. Is to have a painting done of Elvis, give it to Gene.
Oh, it wasn't done already? He
made
it. I thought it was, he had it done.
I had it commissioned. I know, that's what you thought. I just bought it.
To have done,
But I asked him to do it.
Nice.
Within 2 weeks, John knew that it was meaningful to me, meaningful to Gene, who we hadn't yet met. And sure enough, he calls me. He says, I got your painting ready, within a week or two. And I picked it up the other day. And yesterday, I had some other things to discuss with Gene, and I brought the painting. He loved it. He put it on the wall, and I thought about how a simple thing, like that, but it was meaningful to him so much because it showed I cared. I knew that he loved Elvis.
You put the thought into it.
Yeah.
So that's great, because I want everybody, challenge everybody to do mitzvot every single day. I want to learn about everyone's mitzvot. So mitzvot, plural for mitzvah. Mitzvot is the plural. It means many mitzvahs. Yeah.
Okay. Great.
Yeah. So let's dig in a little bit.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk. I mean, diversity is a beautiful thing. I've always loved diversity. We need to bridge each other's differences and accept we're more alike inside, I believe, than we are different. You know?
Yes.
Yeah. So you were born a boy, right?
Yes.
Okay. So tell me a little bit about this. You were born a boy. You were born a Frank, right?
Right.
And now you're Fran.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I took the K
and
off.
you're a beautiful Fran. I love the outfit.
Oh, thank you. Thanks
you're
a lot.
welcome.
I'm very comfortable as female. And I had that in me from when I was younger, but I didn't express it. So even when I was as young as, I'd say, maybe 8 years old, 7, 8 years old, I would lie in bed at night and I would pray that by the morning I would have magically become a girl. I mean, that was that strong of a feeling that I actually appealed to God to help me do that. Yet I didn't live my life in sadness being a boy. But because I had this confusion, this gender confusion, which thousands and thousands, maybe millions of people have this, and then other people have other confusion about their sexuality. Mine, I wasn't confused about my sexuality. I liked girls or females. That was clear to me. But my gender was very confusing, and I couldn't figure out why. And it wasn't that. Because for some people, if their sexuality is such that they prefer, say, boys or men, then they're trying to just align their gender with their sexuality. But in my case, my sexuality was that I still didn't see myself as a gay boy or a gay man, but I did see myself as a girl. So that was a struggle for my whole life. I had that. All through my life, and the way I would finally express it, I didn't have the nerve to tell anybody about this. I kept it inside.
That must have been so hard and painful, and what an internal struggle.
It was, but it was sort of my struggle. Everyone has something.
But, and how come no one knew? Like Mom, she didn't. Maybe a little bit in the beginning.
Mom, you mean?
Your
Lori?
wife,
My wife.
My mother. How come she kind of sensed, but she didn't really know it was going to be anything major? How could you not see in that? And like you said, no, you didn't tell anybody, but even if you don't tell somebody, people have instincts and can see that inside of you if you tell them or not. You didn't, I mean, there must have been some showing of it that people didn't.
Sure, yeah, I didn't tell anybody, not for my whole life, but I didn't
Right,
tell anybody
right.
until I was in my, I say, early 20s.
Okay.
And when I met my wife, Lori, when I was about 20 years old, on a train, it was like a classic love story,
Right.
you know, and more me falling in love with her, maybe, than her
Yeah.
falling in love with me. I didn't think that this gender confusion, even though it had lasted 10 years before
Right,
that,
right.
or more,
Right.
would
Since
continue.
you were 8, right?
Because I was so attracted
Yeah.
to females, so I thought that that would overpower whatever gender confusion I was having.
Right.
So I didn't even tell her before we got married, and it was only until after I got married then it kept on coming back.
But I was saying, how come no one can have an inclination of it? Like no one. You said you didn't tell anybody.
No,
but
'cause
without
I hid
telling
it.
people, how can no one?
Okay,
just like,
here's how they
Yeah.
know.
See it, they
As a
didn't-
result of this
no one could
confusion,
tell.
I then decided that I would hide this.
Right.
And the
So
way I
you
would
hid it good.
hide it would be I would be the boy's boy of the world. So
Yeah.
I was boxing.
Oh, wow.
I was a tough kid.
You played football.
I played football.
Yeah, I know that.
I did everything, guy. I was maybe one of the best shooting pool.
I read that you got into a few fights too.
Yeah, I was so twisted actually at some
Yeah,
point. When I was
yeah.
in my teens, I was a drinker, you know. I mean,
Okay.
maybe not fall down drunk, but I used
Right.
to drink a lot. We used to go out a lot. We would party a lot. And that would carry on into my 20s, because then I would go out with a bunch of guys that were just like me,
Yeah.
but only they were cross-dressers. So we would go into clubs, but we would always be this masculine,
Yeah.
controlling kind of personality, you know?
Right.
And so that's why it was hidden from a lot of
Right,
people,
right.
because
They didn't
when I
see.
told people finally that I was going to transition,
Yeah.
they said, you're like the last person in the, you know, they would ordinarily think of someone who was effeminate or
Yeah.
who expressed that, but I hadn't
Right.
expressed.
But
I kept
as-
it as a secret.
I know someone, a friend of yours, said you transitioned later in life, but they said that you did everything. Like you were doing so much guy. You were so into being a guy. You were going over the top to try
I
to
did it
compensate.
all, yeah.
That you did.
Yeah.
He said you did everything
Yeah.
you could possibly do
Yeah,
as being
as
a
a
guy.
friend.
That you basically maxed it out. So now you got to go to the other gender.
Yeah,
To do it, to
That's
max
right.
that out.
Oh, that's
Then there's
funny.
nothing else but
that's right. It was
It's kind of ironic, but you got to
funny.
max
Yeah.
everything
My
out,
fr-
max the genders out. You got to do
My
everything
friend
you
Chris
can.
was on a
Yeah, Chris
radio
enjoyed
show
you.
many
Yeah.
years ago. We had this show,
Right.
and he was on the show, and he was a gay man,
Yeah.
you know, so he had his own struggles with coming out as
Yeah.
gay and stuff.
Why
But
do they call
he-
it coming out? What is it? Coming out?
Well,
It's
it's
kinda weird
actually
saying, I don't-
Yeah.
it's
don't like it.
I never quite got that.
It's the sound, you know. And I'm sorry, I may have touched this microphone a couple of times, and I've realized it. It's what's inside of you
Yeah.
comes out.
I mean, it's a
I think
silly
that's where
question
they
in a way, but
No, but
I
there
never,
might be a better
where-
term for it. There
because
might
it's
be.
it's you know, it may be more like
I don't know. I don't
maybe
know if I
it's
like
not
that term, but-
resurrecting or evolving.
Evolving
or
is better. I like evolving.
But
it's becoming who you really want to
I like
be,
evolving
who you really
better
are.
than coming out.
yes,
Who you innately
it's really
are.
a realignment, or it's
Yeah.
an alignment with who you really are.
Yeah.
Now, the who you really are is a tricky one, because I feel like I'm better aligned with who I really am is Fran Sisco. And Fran Sisco, one
Right.
big component of as I present as a female.
And you look beautiful.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
But there's a but in this.
Yeah.
I'm more at home, more comfortable with you knowing that I'm trans than with you thinking that I'm a female.
Really.
Because there's, let me just
I'll
say,
tell you, I'll tell you
Kelly,
why.
because I've come to terms with this
Yeah.
over the last few years. Because in the beginning, I was trying to speak in a more, what I thought,
work.
feminine
Feminine.
way, and I was, you know,
Yeah.
which was a fake
Of course.
kind of persona.
Yeah.
Because real women are not like that, you know?
No.
But at the same time, I know this subconsciously,
Right.
I like the idea that I'm trans. I like the idea that I live two lives, that I've lived a
Yeah.
life as, even with the struggle,
Right.
it was more fulfilling to me, because I felt like, and this is what Kelly was mentioning, what Chris said during that radio show is he
Right.
said, he like stopped the action and he said, I know what it is. I know why. Because you felt you had done it as a guy and you weren't content with just living
Right.
in one gender for your whole life. And that really is it. I'm not saying I'm going to transition to being a
Another
turkey
species.
or a robin or something like that, but right, another species. But
Yeah.
but that's a big element of it. Is part of it is from a negative standpoint, trying
Right.
to draw attention to myself. I think some of it is that I like to be
You like to be the center of attention.
sentient. So
Yeah.
and that does
I
it.
do
I
too.
walk in. I say right. So
I
you
do too.
But most people in their lifetime do not need 95% of them or more do not need to transition their gender or change their gender
Right.
to do
right,
it.
Right.
But in my case, it was like magic. When I transitioned, all of a sudden, all the creativity that I wasn't really comfortable with being a sensitive poet. I mean, I used to write poetry. I wasn't that sensitive with songwriting or I wasn't sensitive bringing it out. I was more like this left-brain male.
Yeah.
And then when I transitioned, it sort of gave me permission to do all these other creative things I hadn't
Right.
been doing in my
Right.
life. And
Right.
it really empowered my life.
Did you have support from your family? I mean, did your mom? I mean, you know how
This
moms
is the
are
person-
very intuitive. Well, even
This is the
before-
person who has been the biggest
Oh.
support of me.
Oh.
And I would highly recommend that trans people, especially say, I can't speak for trans men because it's a different experience, but for trans women, namely men who transition to female, and especially ones who are, say, older, like because it's a different experience for the younger people. But in my case, they should reach out to their daughters
Or their sons.
or their sons.
Or
Probably nowadays their sons too.
Yeah.
But reach out because the support is because they, like Kelly,
Yeah.
doesn't have a prejudiced bone in her body. She doesn't have all of those trappings of compartmentalizing or
Right.
judgmentalism and stuff like
Right.
that. And it was sort of like, oh, okay, yeah. I mean, she didn't like. I'm not going to speak for her. She'll say it, but she didn't like it because it was upsetting to my relationship with my wife. It definitely changed that, hurt that, badly. But as far as me and her, I think it was. I'll have her say how it hurt her or how it affected her. But for me to have her as my support, singing a song with me, getting up on stage, doing a comedy act with me, talking to her, having somebody, she lives with me, and her boyfriend live with me. They're about to make a change, getting their own place and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I'm going to miss that, but having her has been, and I encourage other people, look within. You don't necessarily have to go to and I'm nothing against psychologists, psychiatrists, therapists and stuff. That's all important.
Yeah.
But you don't have to depend on that. Start first locally,
But-
right within your own family.
But-
seek out an uncle or an aunt or a daughter or a son or somebody.
But there's different things. Okay. First, I want to say the reason you like being called trans and not nothing else, like, do you like that word? Is
Trans Fran. Yeah.
Well, why you like that is because some people who are transgender, they don't want to ever think of themselves as the race they were born as. They don't want to be known or think of that. You told me you had a wonderful years as a man, and you're not trying to deny those wonderful years. You're not trying to hide in shame of those wonderful Frank years. Some people are in shame of the other years.
Right. Some people who are transgender people,
never have
they
anything
want
to
to
do with
erase that part of their
they
life.
want to erase it.
Yeah, and you
And
can't erase
they
that.
call it, in fact, their dead name.
They try to. You
Like
can't,
when
but
I
they-
meet people,
Wow.
they
With
say,
all their power,
"What's
they
your
do."
dead name?" I say, "What do you mean?"
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
They say, "What's your dead name?" I said, "What do you mean?" They said, "What was your name as a
don't wanna
man?"
know.
I said, "Well, it was Frank." He said, "Well, that's your dead name." I said, "Well,
Oh,
no,
wow.
that person's not dead.
No.
I don't want to know that person's
No.
dead. All of those people I knew, all
course.
my parents."
Well, what made you today?
What
Who
made-
you are
yeah,
today?
Right.
You can't let
Just
go
like
of that.
now,
Yeah.
if I ever transition to a turkey or a
Right.
or a robin or something, I don't want to consider me
Right.
Fran my dead name.
Right, right.
So life is
The only thing you dropped was the K. That's it. I remember watching you we were at a fundraiser, if you remember. I met you first at the cutting room.
That's what I told you earlier.
Yes.
You were asking me,
Went
how
to-
do we officially meet?
Yeah, went to go see the
With
Gangster
cutting room,
Squad.
Yes,
yes.
I told you.
Yeah.
And Frank Pisani and the Gangster Squad.
Yes. And you were
And
so
Vinnie
kind.
Pastore.
You impressed me because you came up to me and you said hello. You were so friendly. And you
mitzvah.
said hello. And you're right, it's a mitzvah. I mean, you out of the blue. And I mean, that just spoke to me. And I just thought you were like awesome after that. And then I saw
that's
you
nice to
again.
hear.
Yeah, it really meant a lot, you know,
that's nice
going,
to hear.
because not everybody goes out of their way, you know, to say
Yeah.
hello. But then I remember at a fundraiser, you were there, I was there, and you got up and you did a performance, your comedy performance, and you said, I was born a Frank. I dropped the K, but I kept my fajoule.
My
I'm
braciole,
so
yes,
fajoule.
right.
I'm not Italian, see?
That's right.
But you know, we're going to...
Braciole is a dish. Looks like a sausage.
Oh,
It's a
there you
large-
go.
It's a
I
large
figured it was
sausage
something related. But
that is done in the pan.
But on the other topic, when you asked me, you said that about people reach out to people. Some people it's not as easy. Not that it was easy for you at all, but it was more easy because you're a very outgoing, social, energetic person. Some people are more reserved, quiet, and don't express themselves. So if a person who's more outgoing, not saying it's easy at all, but it's somewhat
easier.
it's somewhat
For sure.
able to
Right.
be. Some people who don't share, don't tell. You're very much about express.
Which is
And you were
awesome.
expressing as a guy too. You were very expressive. Not maybe a little more as a girl and brought it out in you, but you were expressive as a guy. Some people can't do that. So you say, tell your friends, express. Some people they just vary, and you have to respect that it's very.
We're going to
close for
come
them,
right
you know?
back because I have
Okay.
so many more questions to ask
Okay.
you, but we have to take a commercial
And we'll
break.
be shorter in our answers.
No, I love your answers. I love the
Okay.
dialogue. You know, I love it. So keep it going, but don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this commercial break. Lots more.
Do you or a loved one need the care of a nursing home? A vibrant community to call home where there are healthcare professionals available 24/7? Candlewood Valley Health and Rehabilitation, located in New Milford, Connecticut, has been offering award-winning care for over 40 years. Whether you are rehabilitating from a cardiac procedure or hip replacement, or seeking a place for your loved one to live where he or she can receive top-notch health care, our team is at the ready. We also accept veteran benefits and offer a special secure memory care unit for residents with Alzheimer's or cognitive-related conditions. Call us at 860-355-0971. Candlewood Valley Health and Rehabilitation, a place to heal and thrive.
Welcome to Sunday Dinner with Chef Clemente. This is an all-new show about family cooking, Sunday dinner, things we did as a child, bringing back some memories and some tradition. This is how this dish was born. I'm going to show you that in just a couple of minutes. So, the trick with the meatballs too, when you fry them, you don't want to overcrowd the pan too much. The drizzle, not too much of olive oil, right on top of that fish. So, a little flour. A little egg, cella luna, met somebody, everybody drink some wine. Everybody still going. Pass them around, everybody eat a little bit, come on. You gotta dance. Oh my God! Get together, go visit your mother, your sister, your cousin, bring some pastry, some food, get together, eat, drink, be happy. Who wants some linguine, clams, and pastry?
TLC Senior Living Services. TLC's compassionate senior living specialists will assist you and your loved ones as you navigate these next steps in senior living. With years of experience in this industry, they know what to look for, and they know the questions to ask. TLC Senior Living Services will help find the most suitable living situation, will help find additional financial resources, and assist with the entire process. Cindy Seville, owner and founder, treats her clients with TLC. Yes, tender love and care. After working for various assisted living communities, Cindy decided to offer her wealth of knowledge to all seniors and their families. Cindy takes her time with you. She listens to you. She helps take the confusion out of your search and treats each and every client like family. Make TLC Senior Living Services your first call. Find out more at tlcseniorlivingservices.com.
Welcome back to It Is What It Is with Cindy Seville. We have Fran Sisco and Kelly Sisco. Welcome back. So
Great to be
want
back.
to ask you, thank you, I want to ask you about something that was traumatic in your life. And I remember hearing the story. You were on Mike Marino's show, and that was the first time I ever heard the story. I would love for you to share the story with us.
Yeah, it was an upsetting story, but I learned in my lifetime how to see the silver lining in it, and where it led,
Right.
Sort of like you were saying, we were saying about you seeing in your crisis with cancer, you saw the positive about how you got through it, the strength that it brought to you. And that was the case in what happened to me. I was assaulted with a baseball bat. I was hit over the head 3 times.
How old were you when that happened?
I was 30 years old.
Okay, wow.
And I was presenting, looking as probably a female.
Okay.
I wasn't wearing a dress, but I was wearing these longer jackets and bell-bottom jeans. That was the style. My hair was not as long as yours, but it was as blonde as yours.
Okay.
And I don't think I was wearing makeup at the time, but I was very slender. I looked like a girl from a distance anyway. And so a customer came in the store and said, hi, I'm looking, and I said, can I help you? Yeah, and from far away, and he says, yeah, I'm looking for a gift for my nephew, and then we went on in the conversation. I went over to help him. And I felt that right from the start, there was bad energy.
Yeah. You sense it. You know when something bad is going to happen, your gut tells you.
And it was like a harbinger of what was about to happen, I think. So, but I was close enough to him to know that he wasn't drinking because I didn't smell anything. I don't think he was really on drugs, although I thought after it happened, which I'll tell you why I thought he may have been on drugs at that time. So anyway, he hits me over the head with a bat. I got almost killed. I'm laying on the floor in a pool of blood.
Wow.
Phone rings after 20 minutes or so.
Oh, you were alone in the store?
I was alone in the store, which was unusual. Most times I had people in the store, employees and stuff. Everyone, it turned out. My dad had been working for me from about a year before that.
Right.
He was off sick. Another person was not there. The driver was out on the road and stuff. Anyway, what happened was that I survived it. They told my wife at the time that first they told her that I would probably not make it. And then they told her that if I made it, I'd probably be a vegetable. And but then as the days went on, I guess their prayers worked or something worked. And I lived through it. But I lived through it with a lot of revenge in my heart, which was really different than me. I wasn't really a violent person. I was out of character, but I think I may have shared this with you, that I tried to kill this. I was determined to kill this person who, if I saw him again, I would know him. Yeah. He was a little bit taller than me,
That would have been worse
red-haired, fair skin, perhaps Irish.
You'll never forget that.
I'll never forget that.
You'll never forget what he looked like.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I would go out to drug centers at night, about 8 o'clock, with a knife looking for him, with a knife under the seat of my car. And I was planning.
But that would have ruined your life even more.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, but you don't
this
think
is
that.
how whacked that. Plus, being on morphine for several weeks.
But that's
probably
not
made
even
me
whack.
crazy.
That's something most people would think to do.
Really?
Yes. He attacked you. I mean, I was held up by gunpoint and years ago, and I will never forget who did it to me, you know, and I went looking for him too. So, I mean, I didn't have a knife, I didn't have a gun at the time, I didn't have any of that, but
this went on for about 7 nights. Late at night, my wife would say, where are you going? I'd say, I'm just going to clear my head out. You know? So I went out every night with the knife under the seat of the car, and I was like a different person. I went from this normal person during the day to this like evil killer at night.
Revenge seeker.
Revenge seeker.
Yeah.
And on the street that I believed I was going to find him, at the drug center when they were letting out the people, I knew I was on the street. I felt it was that night maybe he wasn't even in that center.
Right.
I don't know.
Right.
Maybe he wasn't really even a drug addict. Maybe it was out of hate
Yeah.
for me,
Hate crime.
for seeing me
Yeah.
as gay or trans. That wasn't even,
Yeah.
there wasn't even trans then, the
Right.
word.
Right.
Anyway, I started praying. I pulled the car over. I put my hands, because prayer was such an important part of my life, is
Yeah.
still.
Yeah.
Put my head in my hands and prayed deeply that God would take this revenge away. And then it came. In fact, recently I have this piece of art that was in this art exhibit about this same subject. Out from me came all this revenge, like an eruption of a volcano came
Yeah.
out,
Yeah.
and in came through the windshield. There was no water, but it felt like it was water.
Yeah.
I was being washed of it,
Yeah.
like the waves at Jones
Yeah.
Beach. And I felt like all of that went out of me, and in its place came this feeling of forgiveness, love, actually.
Wow. That's powerful.
And I've had it for the rest of my life.
Right.
I forgive very easily. I forgive
Right.
people very easily. I don't harbor revenge at all. And that was the silver lining that happened from
Always
that
a silver
experience.
lining.
So in fact, during Transgender Days of Remembrance, TDOR they're called, they happen in October. Thousands of people around the world
wow.
get together on that. They read the names
They mourn
of
the people who died.
Wow.
Yeah,
For whatever
they're
reason they
focused on the
died.
people that died
Right.
or were injured, assaulted. But my lesson in that, what I say is,
Yeah.
wait, I was attacked. I was
Yeah.
almost killed.
Yeah.
But there's a silver lining in it, too. In
Yeah.
my case, it was developing this sense of
Yeah.
forgiveness. So
Now, what about, I know that you had mentioned how the left brain and the right brain kind of merged.
yeah, what happened was that, and
Yeah.
this is partly the reason why I'm transgender.
Yeah. Okay.
It really has very little to do with sexuality, if at all. Is
Right.
that I wanted to identify more with the women in my life who were right brain oriented, meaning they were artistic,
Right.
the way they thought was breakthrough and brainstorming kind
Yeah.
of thing, relationship oriented. Men, more so then than
Yes.
now, but men typically are left brain, engineering types,
Right.
lawyers, accountants.
Yeah.
I'm a CPA,
You're an accountant. Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
and they think in a certain way, a sequential way, and they're not as sensitive, not as relationship oriented,
I
right?
don't know about that.
Yeah, right.
There's some sensitive
There are
men.
exceptions.
Yeah.
There are
Or there,
There
some.
are.
or there are people that are, or there are people that are both. They do.
But that's the way I saw the world. See,
Yeah,
the way I saw the
exactly.
world was
That's
women with
maybe
this
a
and men with
stereotype, but
that.
that's the
It
way,
was a
yes.
stereotype.
Yeah.
And so, sure enough, that was the left brain, right brain. After this happened to me,
Yeah.
the doctors told me that I already had a lot of transference ability to mix left and right,
Right.
and that was part of the reason that I was trans, because I was able to mix the
Right.
left and right.
Right.
But what happened was that this assault, my brain got so scrambled because of this injury.
Yeah.
My head was fractured in 14 places.
Oh my God.
That-
You're lucky to be
But the
here.
question,
I'm lucky to
but
be
you're
lucky.
saying about the
But
transference
it became easier for me
Yeah.
to think like a female,
well, you're saying the transference,
and
right?
that's influenced my transition.
Absolutely.
Transfers are left and right brain, right? I don't want to be trans. I don't want to be anything but who I am. But Kelly, but I use my left brain. I'm good at some analytical analyzing things. Pretty good at analyzing and doing stuff like that. Maybe not numbers, but other kinds of analyzing. And I'm very creative, so I have a lot of left and right brain, regardless. And I want to just be
Right,
one.
and part of the reason is that you
'Cause I come from you.
No, part of the reason is that you grew up in a world that didn't have as big of a separation between
Male and female?
male and female. I was also the product of an Italian American
Yeah.
Where a woman does this, a man does this, right?
neighborhood where exactly.
now
95% of
Activity
my
switch.
world
Men
was,
could do anything. Women could do
was
anything.
very macho.
Right.
Just like
Yeah.
in some Hispanic cultures too,
Yeah.
and some Italian American cultures
Right.
still, and some other cultures still.
Yeah.
I think even in maybe the Jewish tradition, men,
very
you know,
traditional, yeah.
very traditional.
Yeah.
Men do this, women do that type
Yeah.
of thing. It's
But
different
I'm
for you.
where everyone does anything they want to do.
You grew up differently.
Yeah,
thank
different
God.
generation.
So it's easier for you
Yeah,
to switch
yeah.
between. But for me, it took actually putting on a dress, really, to get to
Clarity.
feel
Let me
my-
ask
To get
you.
clarity.
myself.
So you had told me once that you would or I don't know if I read it or you told me, because we've spoken quite a bit, that you would sneak out or something and put something on. When was this? When did you do that?
Well, the most notorious situation in my memory, and the one that really shaped the rest of my life, was when I was about 11 years old. I was at a beach house with my relatives, my grandmother's beach house in Mesquamacut, Connecticut, Mesquamacut, Rhode Island. And I found out that my cousins wanted to go for this 4-mile long walk, and I pretended I was sick because I knew my cousin Sally had in her suitcase this cute little dress and low heels, like these heels I have on now, and I knew where her makeup was, even at 11 years old, and she had a pixie wig. I don't know why. She was about 14. I don't know why she would have had a wig. It was like God put it there. And I pretended I was sick. They left. I put on that whole outfit, and I went out into broad daylight for the first time in my life.
Wow, at 11 years old, wow.
I had gone, on Halloween the last 2 years before that at night, but it was sort of okay. It's on Halloween. You could be a nurse on Halloween.
Right.
But this time was the first time in real life that I, went out in broad daylight. I got away with it. I almost got found out.
Oh, so nobody saw you?
No one saw me.
Well,
I ran back. Strangers
but no
saw
family.
at the time and stuff, and I
family.
got away with it.
Wow.
They thought I was a girl, or so they thought.
Right.
But then I realized that time was short. The 3 hours was up, and I had to run back to the beach house. I got in there
That's why you like going to Rhode Island all the time.
Well, it wasn't even enough time to take off the makeup. So what I did is I jumped. I ran into the bedroom.
Right.
I closed the door behind me. I jumped into the bed, and with everything on.
Oh, make believe you were sleeping?
Yeah, and that I was still sleeping. I was still sick. They came home, and I heard my cousin Sally say to Joanne, "Frankie, he must be really sick. I see his sneakers here. He's still in the room." Joanne says, "I'll go see," and I could actually feel Joanne's hand on the doorknob.
Oh no!
About to open
scared you were.
the door.
But
My life would be over, because if my parents found out.
The other side of that? What if the door opened and they saw they pulled the
saw
covers?
me,
What would be the ultimate tragedy? Other side? Maybe there wouldn't be a tragic other side.
There might not have been.
Know. You
but
never
what
know.
happened
You were
was
scared of
that
a tragic other side, but maybe there wasn't.
they ended up.
Yeah.
Joanne ended up saying, Sally said, "No, leave him alone. She never came in. They never got found out." They went to the beach, and I was alone there in the bed, and I lay there for about a half an hour, trying to figure out just what you asked.
Yeah.
What would have happened had they saw me?
Right.
And my parents are very loving parents. They were, and they would maybe have They would have been very confused.
What was the joke Papa said? The joke. And don't go here because that's the devil. The cure for this is never go to Manhattan.
Yeah.
Manhattan's the devil.
Finally, many years later, when my brother outed me. My brother was gay, by the way, but my brother outed me. That word,
out.
LGBTs in the family.
To my parents.
Right.
And then they called me over to the house to find out what's going on. Because in their mind, being trans meant, or transgender, meant being a hooker on the streets of the meat factory in the city. And they associated it with that.
We're going to come right back, because there's more that I want to talk to you both about, and especially the whole creative side.
Okay.
So, and I can't wait to hear the song, the trans song. So
okay, great.
We will be right back. Don't go anywhere. You are in for a surprise. See you in a couple.
Silvermine at Home, a Connecticut-based non-medical home care agency servicing Connecticut and parts of New York. Silvermine caters to their clients' needs while offering peace of mind to their families so their loved one can age in place and live their best life possible. Call today to see how they can make a difference in you or your loved one's life. Our family caring for yours. Visit silvermineathome.com or call 203-228-5007. or a loved one need the care of a nursing home? A vibrant community to call home with our healthcare professionals available 24/7? Candlewood Valley Health and Rehabilitation, located in New Milford, Connecticut, has been offering award-winning care for over 40 years. Whether you are rehabilitating from a cardiac procedure or hip replacement, or seeking a place for your loved one to live where he or she can receive top-notch health care, our team is at the ready. We also accept veteran benefits and offer a special secure memory care unit for residents with Alzheimer's or cognitive-related conditions. Call us at 860-355-0971. Candlewood Valley Health and Rehabilitation, a place to heal and thrive.
The Suki and Scott Show.
This is one of the funnest shows I've ever done.
Lady, when you're with me, I'm smiling.
It's musical. It's magical.
This is a sexy show. Someone's getting some action.
Now, these larger-than-life personalities are on an exciting new journey. The Suki and Scott Show is your one-stop destination for humor,
You like De Niro and Cape Fear. Counselor!
entertainment,
Jesse's girl.
Wonderful.
Can you paint with all the colors of the wind?
and optimism.
You guys have such amazing energy.
Let's laugh together.
I love him.
The Suki and Scott Show.
Welcome back to It Is What It Is. Welcome again. I have some questions for you. You've told us, you've shared with us your story, your incredible story, which is so inspiring. What do you do now to help others?
Okay, since I transitioned back on 1/1/11,
I noticed
all
that.
right, so that's
Yes.
like 11 years
What a
ago.
number.
Yes.
I've been so into doing my art in such a way that I think it's very empowering for other people. I'll give you some examples.
Okay.
One is comedy, stand-up comedy.
Yes.
Always talk about being trans. Kelly has been on the stage
Yep.
with me too when we do, and I think it helps others be more expressed.
Right,
You know,
right.
talking about comedy.
Well,
I tell
humor
jokes
always,
about my
it relaxes people and invites topics that you normally maybe wouldn't have talked about, but you can. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Made 3 trans documentaries.
Wow.
That have won awards. They've been shown all over the world.
Amazing.
Actually, I'm so happy about all of this, including Kelly's been in one of them. One famous one, or one popular one, is Happy Trans Girl Like Me. It's a very positive way about, hey, this is who I am. I'm trans.
Right.
You know, and
Right.
and
But it's
I'm
not. No, that
joyful.
song is not just about trans. It's about be who you want to be. Any
right.
person, any kind of
Yeah.
who
Right,
you want to
exactly.
be, whatever it is.
Well, you're
Who you
going to
wanna
sing
be.
that for us
Universal.
later.
We've brought, over the
It's a
years,
universal.
we've brought people into the house, stayed, people who were on the cusp
Wow.
of transitioning.
Right.
Tried
And
to help 'em.
in my art, the visual art, Kelly is an artist too. In my visual art, many of the paintings and sculptures relate to being trans, so it gives you an opportunity when you're at an art show to
Right.
talk about
Yes.
trans authenticity. I'm involved with the Episcopal Actors Guild as on the DEI committee. That's diversity, equity, and inclusion.
Love it.
And this whole process has gotten me to better understand how I wasn't very accepting years ago, and now
Right.
not only more accepting but more embracing of other people and other
Right.
cultures. I've got much more sensitive about race, about
Yeah.
people who are black or Asian or
Yeah.
whatever. I've written a play called It's an Italian Thing. No, it's a black thing, specifically
Love it.
about that.
Love
I've
it.
got I have 2 books. And so, anyway, a lot of what I'm doing is to help people see that I express myself, I'm living more happily, and they could do the same.
Right.
And I think that has really, has it helped you at all, Kelly?
My thing with helping, I think I've helped you realize some stuff. No, I think I have.
Yeah, no, I think
Well,
Because
you both have helped me. So.
I wrote this scene
Yeah.
called A Parent Can Learn a Lot from a Child. The reverse thing, which is some people realize that, but others don't realize that the parent is the teacher. I taught,
Yeah.
and I taught
That's right.
about what I kind of understand my mom more than maybe Fran does, and my mom tried shedding light on her opinions and views. It didn't work. So I brought my mom's view into the mix of the situation.
Right.
We're coming home from a comedy show, having a ball. Wherever we performed, we pull in the driveway, and Fran says, wouldn't it be nice if Mom could come out with us? Wouldn't it be nice? I said, Mom's not going to come out with us. This is not her thing.
Yeah.
Even if Fran wasn't a girl, she doesn't like going performing. But now that Fran's a girl, she's performing more. And Mom's thing is not to go perform, but not to. But I think she's getting over more of it. I'll tell you the truth. In the past, Fran wasn't going out to Mom's family, Mom's side of the family. Right. And she was not mingling with Mom's side so much in the last couple of years. Now my mom's given up on that. She says, you want to come? I think because
this Sunday we're going with the whole family, her side, for Mother's Day.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
But my point is,
breakthrough.
it's not only people to be sensitive to Fran for who she is, it's you being sensitive to them, how they react to it.
Right.
Especially your own wife.
Yeah,
especially your own wife, how she reacts to it. And seeing her side, how maybe she can't she accepts it in her way, but she can't accept it the way you want, So you have to be okay with that.
It's
hard. It's hard both ways.
It's hard. Yeah. It's very hard. Yeah. And she's bringing up
process.
She's bringing
for everyone.
Her mother up, my wife.
Yeah.
I'm still in love with her.
Yeah.
She doesn't love me in the same way.
She loves you, but not that way.
Just today, I was getting my hair trimmed, and I was thinking of her, and the people that was cutting my hair know her too.
Yeah.
And it got sensitive, and I started really crying. So I know that, but I'm getting better at it. I think appreciating other people's.
You know what
points
I
of view.
noticed? I noticed that. I mean, I refer to you as a woman. And I think of you as a woman.
Right.
I just do. Like, immediately, I thought of you as a woman. And I remember I said, sit closer to your mom. And you're like, no, that's my dad.
And you'll hear me say Fran, Dad, and mix it all up. But I never say Mom. People say, well, if it's Dad, why do you say? I say Fran only because she's a girl, but I do. And some people try to correct me. And they try to say, well, don't you mean Mom? I say, is Dad, and then they correct me. They're trying to be nice and courteous, but in that realm, me, it's not so courteous.
I'm fine with. In fact, I love being her father.
Yeah, but you don't like when I say it in public. You like Fran.
But it's uncomfortable if she says, "Dad."
In a joke,
when you're dressed as a woman.
Yeah.
Exactly.
In fact, in one of my jokes, we're going out to Marshall's to buy shoes, and she yells out. She found the shoes. She yells out, Dad,
yeah,
Dad, Dad.
That was only the first 2 weeks of you being...
First 2 weeks. And so I was so uncomfortable,
like,
I was embarrassed. So
but
the sales girl comes over to me and says, what's the matter? What are you embarrassed about? Here at Marshall's, everything is irregular.
I love it.
But now I just say Fran and get used to it. Sometimes I even say Fran in the house, which I don't have to in the house. Say Fran. I don't even have to, but I do because I just try to get comfortable saying it because I'm afraid I'm going to slip out when I go out. So I want to keep it one sometimes.
This has been an amazing life, and it was an amazing time sharing some of it with you today.
I'm so happy that you were here.
Have a friend like you and have a daughter like her and all of them.
You have a lot of support. You have a great support network.
Yeah.
Tell everybody, because you're going to do something wonderful for us, the two of you, in a few minutes. Tell everybody how they can reach you.
Sure. They could get me by email, by phone, and all that information is on my website. And they could see video of performances and art and stuff and read things. It's on www.trans, which is Trans, Fran, Fran, Sisco, but spelled with an S, SISCO.com. So it's transfrancisco.com. Go up there, contact me any way you want. Email, Facebook.
You're great with social media. Awesome.
But on this thought of what I was saying, you have to understand other people. You also have made people feel comfortable. I'll tell you another thing. When my boyfriend first met my father, he was like, what? He's Hispanic. And in his culture, it's not so talked. And it's not so. He heard of it, but it's not so. Then now he lives with us. And now he even goes out to LGBT things and sees LGBT stuff. He does it a lot for me, but he does it because it is my life. It is me. And he goes along with me.
And he loves your dad.
Yeah, he learned to love the whole situation because for me, he learned to love the whole situation.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
now,
That's what it is
now
in
my
love.
dad is like
We're
his
in
dad,
one
you know,
world.
so.
We're
That's
in
right.
one world.
We all need to love each
And
other.
we all need to love
That's
each
it,
other,
that's
really.
it.
And the more united we all are, and by appreciating
Yes.
our differences, we
Yes.
get more united.
Yes, yes.
You know?
And
I
that's
real-
a beautiful way to end it, because final thoughts. So my final thoughts today, I'm actually going to allow the two of you to share. So are you ready?
Yeah, we're ready. We're gonna.
This is called what? This is called.
The name of this song is the same name as the film, Happy Trans Girl Like Me. It's a pop song. We had a lot of people help us out with it. There's some people you'll hear in the background, and it's also Kelly and I singing, and we're going to
Awesome.
sing.
Sing a few verses
over.
for us.
Yeah, sing
Okay.
a few verses.
And you can hear them
It's
all
about
on the
me.
website. Get ready.
You wanna be a cute, happy trans girl like me? Do you wanna be a friendly, loving trans girl like me? Just kissy face, cheek to cheek, BFF, send a selfie. Wear that dress like you love each move your body makes. Love this crazy world. I give it much more than I take. Now that I live as a girl, I feel more authentic, not fake.
Here's the chorus.
Yes, trans, yes, trans, yes, trans, Fran. Yes, trans, yes, trans, yes, trans, yes, yes. Yes, trans, yes, trans, yes, trans, Fran. Yes, trans, yes, trans, yes, trans, yes, yes.
We're faded it out. Thank you.
love
We
it.
actually performed it at the Gene Frankel Theater
We have
with
some moves
several
we do.
other people
I
a week
love
ago on my birthday. It was
Yeah.
such a treat, and we showed the
film.
films I mentioned.
Oh,
so
I love it.
Everyone there came up to us and said, some people came up and said, you know, I have some trans friends. Would it be okay if they're just coming out now? Is it okay if they contact you?
And
And
I think everyone knows
Amazing.
that song now. They come on stage with us singing along to it.
What a
Yeah.
great
I
song.
think they know.
What a great
they
song.
learned it.
Thank you both so
Thank you, Cindy.
much.
Thank you,
Mwah,
Cindy. Mwah,
and mwah. I really appreciate you coming on and inspiring so many other people
Oh,
and sharing your
thanks so
story.
much
you know,
for having
because
us.
sharing your story, you inspire others, you help others.
Yeah,
and that's
and-
why I wrote my book. That's why I tell my story.
is-
And I love having people come on and share theirs. It's all about inspiration.
You instigated it because you came on our show,
Yes,
our
yes.
radio
And I thank
show,
you.
and everyone loved it.
It was fun.
And your books, you know, your phenomenal books
Thank you.
and stuff.
I have more in the works, so stay tuned.
Great, I love that. I want to get a copy of that
Definitely.
children's book.
Definitely. Dad will give you one.
Very good.
So thank you.
Okay,
Thank
thanks
you.
again.
Of course.
Thank you so much for joining us today. It was a fabulous show. It was a lot of fun. We have Trans Fran and Kelly joining us today, and they really definitely inspire great stories. So stay tuned for next week. Make sure you tune in. Make sure you like, comment, and share. The more times you like, comment, and share, don't forget, the more chances you have of winning the book, I Am. So I will see you next week, and thanks for joining us. Yay.
Live your life like a dreamer. Fly all over the world. Open yourself so the world